What can the American people learn from your case? What do you hope they get out of it?
What case? I have no case.
This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org. I am here with Ladar, founder of Lavabit, an incredible individual, a very selfless individual. First, starting off, a lot of people don't know about Lavabit. Can you tell us what exactly Lavabit was?
It was an email service that I started in April of 2004, and it was really a service that was focused on privacy, and being an information security specialist myself, obviously focused on providing features that would allow people to secure their email and secure their communication with my service. We really focused on heavy email users because we offered, and most of our users utilized, POP and IMAP to access their email, thereby really writing their emails and reading their emails using thick clients on their desktop like Outlook, Thunderbird, Outlook Express. Go back far enough, we even had a few Eudora users, Pine, Mutt, and a few others. And that was really who we catered to. I like to think that, you know, at least in the beginning, we were an email service by geeks, for geeks. And that's what geeks wanted. We had a pretty rudimentary webmail system, so it was never really, you know, we had a niche market, certainly. And we had grown slowly. I never really took venture capital. I built it the old-fashioned way with hard work. Spent thousands of hours building effectively a custom platform, a clustered platform, because the problem of email is very difficult to solve if you have to scale beyond a single server.
Working in the media, we saw Edward Snowden use Lavabit. Now we know that this occurred. There was things that happened to Lavabit. There's some things that you can't get into legally, of course. Without jeopardizing any persecution or without jeopardizing anything, what can you tell us about what happened to Lavabit and to your company?
I was put in a very difficult ethical position. I felt that I was being asked to do something that I thought was wrong and unconstitutional, and decided that the only way I could really preserve my own moral constitution would be by making a difficult choice, and that was to shut down. I've often compared my decision to the one a person makes when it's time to put a pet to sleep, a beloved pet to sleep, and having to decide between, you know, ending it quickly and watching her fall off to sleep, or letting it slowly suffer and die. And at least I think in my case that was clearly what was going on, and I chose to put the service to sleep, so to speak. You know, I will say this, there's just everything that was going on and the stress leading up to the shutdown. I was having trouble sleeping. I was always worried about it. There was this threat of arrest hanging over my head. All of these issues were coming up that I mean, I didn't know how to address, I didn't know how to deal with, and I didn't have the resources to deal with. You know, as a small business with only, you know, one other full-time employee, you know, we didn't have high-powered attorneys on staff. We didn't have the people needed to fight these kinds of issues, and we certainly didn't have them 1,000 miles away in Virginia, because we were a Dallas-based company. And the government knew that, and they were trying to take advantage of that. They were trying to basically bully me into becoming complicit in what I can only describe as a crime against the American people.
Now I know there's been some repercussions. Can you get into some of the repercussions, or can you not get into some of the repercussions because you have this?
Repercussions.
Are you facing any problems or persecution because of your ethical decision not to participate?
I think what protected me when the service was still running was the fact that if I was removed from the street arrested, so to speak, the service would have shut down, and that wasn't what the government wanted. And I think now, because of all the publicity, even though I've been able to sort of at least answer some questions and turn myself into what is becoming a public figure, all of the publicity has really prevented them from arresting me at this point, because I think as far as the government is concerned, I'm already saying too much. You know, it's already come out that I was threatened with arrest right after the shutdown, and that just the letter on Lavabit.com that I wrote was already admitting too much.
It's an incredible, amazing scenario, because there's so many things that you can't even bring up and you can't even talk about. So, I mean, but I have to say, looking from the outside in, it's just amazing to see someone ethical in the media business. There's Facebook, there's Google, working hand in hand with the government, getting paid to spy and access people's data. You made an ethical stand not to participate in that, and it's really incredibly selfless, because I know Lavabit was something incredibly important to you.
Yeah, it was.
Can you talk about the decision and what you had to undergo in deciding to close it down? How did it personally affect you?
Well, I mean, I should start with the Google and the Facebook and the Apples and the Microsofts. The fact is, they're fighting very similar battles to my own. There are technicalities, obviously, that you could get into, but you can't really discuss them because of just how secretive everything is. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. These companies are challenging the government's right to this information. The problem is they're losing, and they're losing these fights in secret. So they're effectively being forced to collaborate, very much like I was being forced to collaborate. And it's a situation where, because of the secrecy involved, the public doesn't know enough to object. And, you know, anyone that's familiar with the details of my fight, or the details of, you know, Google's fight or Facebook's fight or Yahoo's fight, realizes that there's a reason they're trying to keep these things secret. It's because they know the American people wouldn't stand for what's going on. And they figure, well, it doesn't matter if they don't want us doing this if they never find out. And the problem is, people are finding out. You know, I shudder to think what would have happened if these events had occurred, say, 6 months ago, and, you know, I had posted the same letter. Nobody would have understood my decision, or why I possibly could have made such a decision. But because of all the information that has leaked out over this summer, you know, I think people are starting to get a picture. You know, they're realizing that my fight was really not about protecting a single person, but over whether or not our government should have access to everybody's private communications or not. And, you know, that's a debate that needs to occur in public, not in secret courts or secret hearings. And, you know, these are decisions that judges need to be willing to stand behind and not hide behind rules like classification. You know, and we're making progress there, slowly. You know, and like I said, Google, Yahoo, Facebook, Apple, they're continuing to fight this up.
So it seems like almost virtually everyone is entrapped in PRISM, this global surveillance program created by the NSA to spy, track, monitor every single thing we do online.
There's nothing I want to fix when it comes to the internet, nothing I want the government to fix when it comes to the internet. And we continue to pass legislation that has unintended consequence. I will speak as a governor who arguably